Hi guys, this is Vineet, and in this video we will talk about how you will use mark transactions to recover the databases to a particular point in time. So basically a restore operation where we restore to a point of a mark transaction. So before we proceed ahead, I would request you guys to please go ahead and subscribe to my channel by hitting on the subscribe button coming below this video. And once you click that subscribe button, you will see a bell icon. Please do click on that and select all notifications to get notifications regarding all my future videos. So this will be a shorter version of my earlier video, which was a little bit lengthy, like 50 minutes. In this video, we will try to cover the same concept in a concise manner. So let's proceed ahead, and there are some points to be remembered. So I would request you guys to watch video till the end to gain better clarity of the concept. If possible, please watch this video twice and do the exercises mentioned in your video, mentioned in this video in your lab environment with the test databases. We would always prefer that, but yeah, you can try that. And third point is we would like to know your thoughts regarding our videos. So please share your comments with us. And also to let us know on which topics do you want us to make any future videos. We would love to hear your comments and let us know about your stories regarding any real situations where you have practically applied my stuff mentioned in the videos. Now let's come back to the topic. But before we proceed ahead, I would like to review one of the books I have read recently. So that is one of the good books you may go through. So the book name is Querying SQL Server. This is from author Adam Aspin. The key features of this book is it provides an hands-on approach to learning the fundamentals of data analysis. It covers the SQL expertise from novice to master level with examples. So that is a good feature of the book. And you can query complex databases more effectively after going through these books. And this book discusses about the fundamental concepts of SQL and SQL Server. So here by SQL we mean T-SQL if you are using SQL Server. So it will also let you know about how to build queries using simple and complex table joins, provides you knowledge about the how to implement the advanced data filtering in with T-SQL, clears you about the relational logic we have in RDBMS databases like SQL Server, and it also tells you about the grouping and aggregating data, which is quite essential features in day-to-day life. And it will also tell you how you can create subqueries and derive tables, creating rolling analysis, or doing rolling analysis and time series data examination, and how to manage the large and complex data sets. So these are the features book is all about. So it discusses all these topics. So I would suggest you to go through this book. So the link is given in the description of this video. Please check this book out. The audience for this book is it can be used by database developers, SQL developers, the data analysts, and the BI experts. So the link is here, also given in description. So go ahead and check this book out. And let's come back to the topic, which is how you can use mark transaction to recover databases to a particular point in time in history. So let's go to SQL Server. So here's the SQL Server. So basically, here we will be using the Northwind database as a sample database. So in order to perform a point in time restore to a mark transaction, there are certain series of steps you need to follow. So first step is to create a full or differential database backup of whatever database you're working on. So here we are working with Northwind, so we will take a full backup. So let's open a query into the master database. So along with me, you can write a command. So backup is the command, backup database, and name of the database you need to mention. Name of the database is Northwind, and I'm backing up to disk. You need to provide the location of the backup folder, uh, which should be something like this. And along with that, you need to specify the name of the backup file. We are specifying northwind.back. And yeah, this is how you can create database backup, full database backup. So let's go ahead and take a full database backup. So full database backup is done, and we have a file here, northwind-back, which contains the full database backup. Now let's try to make some changes to one of its tables. Let me. So here we are making a change to a products table. So let's select some rows from the products table. Open a new query where we will implement this. So select star from products. Let's see what data we have. So we have certain data with certain items of our products, each have a unit price. So it has database, this table has around like 77 rows. So let's try to filter the rows out. So where I will say let's unit price is between, I'm saying 50 and 60. So let's see how many rows filter out. Notice the operator is between. So we have 5 rows where the unit price is from 50 and less than 60. So total of 5 rows. So what we will do here is we will let's begin a transaction here. Under this transaction, we will modify these particular 5 rows. So you need to begin with begin transaction, and you need to specify the name of the marked transaction. You are naming it. So this is a unit price update. We are applying update on the unit price column. So I'm setting the unit price equals unit price. I'm doubling the price. Apply the multiply operator by 2, and I'm giving the condition which is same as this. So I'm doing this under this transaction, and after that I'm committing this transaction. So I'm doing a commit transaction and specifying the transaction, putting a go between that, and after commit let's put a go. So transaction is sending here, and in our case transaction is sending here. So this is a complete transaction, starting with begin transaction, commit transaction. Transaction spelling need to be corrected. So yeah, so this is the name of transaction. I'm committing the same transaction over here. So now let's go ahead and do this. So let's see what's the issue here. So it's saying some okay. So a statement is missing. I need to update the table, so which is the products table. I forgot to write that statement. So let's select that and execute this piece of code. So 5 rows are updated where price are double now. So now comes the next section. Let's copy this code into a notepad file. In the meantime, put this code in notepad. All right, let's close this window out, close this session out. So 5 rows were updated. Now what we will do, we are inside the master database right now. So we need to take a backup now. We have a committed transaction, but yeah, the transaction was done after we had taken the full database backup. So what we will do now, we will try to restore, but before restore, we need to take a tail log backup. Now this tail log backup will contain this committed transaction, which we have committed just now. So let's take a backup. So I need to do backup log, and we need to specify the name of the database, which is Northwind, and I'm taking it to disk. So you can use the same statement. I need to specify specific clause, as this is a tail log backup. So I need to specify with no recovery clause, so that database goes into the recovering state instead of being available. So let's do a backup. Let's execute it. So I've taken both the full backup and the log backup under the same file name. So a single file can contain multiple types of backup. If I do restore, if I say statement, give me a second, guys. Let me see what the keyword is. Maybe file list only, file header only. Let me check what that particular keyword was. Give me a second. So guys, the keyword is restore header only is the keyword, and you need to specify from which file you want to restore the header information. So I've restored the information from the same file, which is the Northwind back database file. So this file contains two backups. So here you see the backup types. So one stands for the full database backup, two stands for the transaction log backups. And it shows you the date when the backups were taken. So full database backup was taken today at 16:58 hours, and the transaction log backup was taken at 17:03 today. So all right. So what if we would like to see whether this transaction log backup contains the marked header, uh, which is the list price update. This was the header. This is the marked transaction header, or header or name, you can say. So we want to see whether the particular transaction log backup contains the marked transaction. So that in order to check that, you can go to right click on a database. So right now database should be in the recovering mode. It's in restoring mode. So if you go to right click on database, go to task, go to restore, and do a transaction log restore here. It opens up a box. In the bottom section, restore to, you can select a marked transaction, and here the transaction log file backup was automatically collected from the database itself, but yeah, you can specify the file as well. I can add that file where I've taken the transaction log backup. So this has the transaction log backup. Let's see whether it has a marked transaction. So it has a marked transaction. List price update 2. So this is not the one. I don't know why this is giving us the wrong information. Let's see the database one. So I don't think so. Even I have taken the tail log backup under the same file, but that does not contain the mark transaction, because if I go to task and do a restore of transaction log, and if I select that file, it doesn't show me that transaction mark. If I do OK, and it is showing me some older transaction mark, so that is not the correct one. Let's check out table. There is a certain table which contains information about the transaction marks. The table name is under the MSDB database. There's a table. So if you go to MSDB table, it has a table called logmark history. So select star from logmark history. It contains history information about the logmark. So that was the recent one. Okay, so I would say the log mark was not created accurately in this sample. So for now, let's just restore the database where the full database was database backup was taken. So let's do a restore database Northwind with recovery. I'm not restoring the transaction log backup which was taken afterwards. So let's type with recovery. There were some statement missing while making changes to our product table. So let's restore the database for now. Let's check if it's restored now. So database is restored, and let's perform that action again. So let's open up a new query against Northwind. So some of the statements were missing here. So if I right now do a select star from products where unit price between 50 and 60, we will find okay. So we are not finding anything. We have lost on that data. It is not finding any rows. So that transaction is committed. Okay, let's do another example. Let's take, let's see if we have anything between 20 and maybe 30 and 40. Let's see. Let's start from scratch. Do we have anything inside the products? Let's check it out. So let's say 10 to 20. So we should have certain rows. So between 10 to 20, we have like 29 rows. What we will do, so some of the points were missing. So we need to start with begin transaction statement, and we need to specify the transaction name, which is unit price update. But along with that, you need to specify with mark option, which was missing earlier. So you can specify the description, which will mark, and we are updating the product prices between 10 and 20. You can mark that as this, and after that you can specify go and this transaction here and this statement here. So let's do that. So we have a full database backup. So all right, let's start our transaction, update the product table, and I'm multiplying the unit price by 2 where the unit price is between 10 to 20. So 29 rows will be updated under this transaction. And here now I'm creating a mark. So with mark statement is very essential in order to create transaction marks, which we missed in the previous practical. So let's execute this. 29 rows are updated. Now the transaction is committed. You can check from log history that mark will be recorded here. So yeah, you see the mark is here. And let's do let's back up the tail log backup, and let's do a tail log backup which will contain this should contain this transaction mark. So let's do that. After that we will check whether it contains the transaction mark or not. So this will be file number 3. So I need to close this. Let's take this into a separate piece of notepad. Now we can close this. So this is a backup is taken successfully. We can restore the header only from the file. So this is the third number file, which is at position 3rd. We have transaction log backup, and the database should now be in the restoring state. And in order to check whether this newly created transaction log backup contains the transaction mark, you can go to task and go to restore, do a transaction log restore, and you need to select from device, select this file, quickly add it, Northwind back. So it contains 2 transaction log backups. So I would like to take a view at the, so right now it's selecting both of them, but I don't want the file number 2 to be applied, but I can see mark transaction. So here we will see the mark transaction which contains unit price update. This mark is created at this particular time, and just a minute ago. So yeah, The marked transaction is there in the transaction log backup. We have checked that. So now what we will do, now at this point, what we will do, so a tail log backup is taken. The next step is to do a full database backup restore. So in order to do that, do a restore and perform restore database and name of the database, and I need to restore from disk, so specify the name of the disk file, and let's restore a header only. Information is given below, so not required. So restoring a database, full database backup, which is in this file. I need to specify with no recovery because I need to apply the transaction log as well, and with file equals one number file is for the full backup, so this is our position 1, so file 1. I think that information is sufficient, so let's apply a full backup restore. So this is done. The database should still be in the recovering status or restoring status. Now what we will do, we will apply the restore the tail log backup which we have taken. So perform a restore log statement, specify the name of the database, which is Northwind, and from disk you can specify this file name, and after that you need to specify the file information from which you want to restore. I want to restore from third file. You can check the information from here, file header only for that particular file. So I'm restoring this third file which contains the transaction log mark. So with file 3, and we want to recover the database as well, so I will specify the recovery clause, and I need to specify, but I want to apply this transaction log backup, but I want to stop before certain mark. So what is that mark? So what is that mark? The mark name is list price update, which was taken on this date today. Let's pick this up, and I need to stop before that. I don't want to apply the transactions, so let's do a restore, which will restore our database successfully. Okay, it is not allowing us to directly restore file 3, so let's try to restore file 2 with no recovery, and here I'm not specifying the transaction mark because that let's do that. So second log file is restored. Now let's restore the third log backup with file 3, and need to specify recovery and need to specify the stop before mark. We can specify the so transaction log should be applied in order. We cannot directly apply a transaction log which was taken afterwards before applying any previous transaction logs. So stop before mark, we need to specify the name of the mark, which is this. So let's restore the database with full recovery now. So database is recovered. We refresh the databases. Now you will see the database is available and online. And let's open up a query window against this database, and we should be able to see the products between 10 and 20 because we have stopped before the transaction mark, which was unit price update. I've stopped before this transaction. So this data should be available, which was around 29 rows. That should be available. So yeah, rows are available. So that's how you restore to a point in time before the marked transaction, or you can restore till the marked transaction as well, but that transaction will be included. If I have used the restore stop at mark, this transaction will be executed. But however, I have used stop before mark. So flow will store, restore will stop before this transaction mark. So everything stops after this transaction marks, and this transaction will not get executed during the restore. So fine, we have got our data back, and this is how you do restore with the mark transactions. I hope you like this video. So please subscribe to my channel and hit on the bell icon and select all notifications to get notifications regarding my future videos. Hit on the like button, share this video with your friends if you really like it. And once again, I had reviewed one of the books in here, so please do check that out. It's a great quality book. So link is given in the description, so you can check that out. And I'm done for today, and I thank you so much for your time on this video today. Have a wonderful day ahead.